For hundreds of years, people accepted Swiss cheese holes without question. They were iconic, expected, almost magical. But then something strange happened. The holes began to disappear. Factories were producing Swiss cheese that looked smooth, wrong, and no one could explain why. What followed was a scientific mystery that took over a century to solve, and the answer turned out to be far stranger than bacteria alone. Swiss cheese, especially Emmental, is known for its large round holes, called eyes. They're not decoration, they're a defining feature. But understanding why those holes form wasn't easy. In fact, scientists argued about it for decades, until modern technology finally revealed the truth. As early as the 1900s, scientists believed they had the answer. The theory was simple. During fermentation, certain bacteria release carbon dioxide gas. That gas creates bubbles inside the cheese. When the cheese hardens, the bubbles remain, forming holes. It sounded reasonable. So reasonable, in fact, that no one questioned it for decades. But there was a problem. If gas-producing bacteria were everywhere in the cheese, why didn't holes form evenly? Why here and not there? No one had a clear answer. Then, in the early 2000s, Swiss cheesemakers noticed something alarming. Despite using the same bacteria, same temperatures, same recipes, the holes were shrinking or disappearing completely. Even stranger, cheese made in winter had more holes than cheese made in summer. That shouldn't have mattered. By this point, cheesemaking was highly controlled, almost surgical. So what had changed? The bacteria were the same. The milk was the same. But the holes were gone. The breakthrough came in 2015. Swiss agricultural scientists took a step back and asked a new question. What if the holes don't start with bacteria at all? Instead, what if they start with something solid? Microscopic analysis revealed something unexpected inside older cheeses. Tiny particles of hay. Invisible to the naked eye, but crucial. Here's what actually happens. In traditional farming, cows were milked in open barns. Tiny particles of hay fell into the milk. These particles became starting points inside the cheese. When bacteria released carbon dioxide, gas gathered around these particles. Over time, perfect round holes formed. No hay particles, no starting point. No starting point, no holes. Modern dairy farming is extremely clean. Closed milking systems prevent contamination, which is great for safety, but terrible for Swiss cheese holes. The milk became too clean. Without hay particles, gas had nowhere to collect. So instead of forming large holes, it escaped quietly. Smooth cheese replaced holy cheese. Scientists tested the idea. They added powdered hay, carefully measured, into clean milk. Then they watched. Using CT scans over months of aging, they saw it clearly. More hay equals more holes. Less hay equals fewer holes. The mystery was solved. The number of holes could be controlled almost at will. For over a century, people believed Swiss cheese holes were only about bacteria. But the truth was simpler and stranger. The secret ingredient wasn't exotic microbes. It wasn't temperature. It wasn't time. It was dust from hay. Sometimes, progress doesn't remove problems. It accidentally removes the magic. And in this case, a little mess was exactly what made Swiss cheese pea. So next time you see those iconic holes, remember, they're not flaws. They're history, trapped in cheese. If you enjoyed this mystery, subscribe for more hidden stories from science and history. Because sometimes, the smallest details make the biggest difference.